Hello everyone and welcome to 2018. So this video is going to be about my goals for this year, and I know it's a little bit late. It's about 2 weeks into the new year, but I think this just goes to show you that you don't just need to start on the first day. You can start whenever you want. Now if you want to start on the first day, that's fine too, but for me, I'm getting like a 2-week late start. But I kind of thought I'd go over some of my goals this year and maybe see if by sharing some of my goals I can inspire some of you guys to come up with some goals for yourself. I always think that coming up with ways in when we can better ourselves is always a good thing. You know, there's always something that we can do to kind of better ourselves, not in like a way that's saying we're not good enough as we are, but just to do something that kind of gives us a little bit more pleasure and something that we might teach ourselves that we didn't even know that we liked. So without further ado, let's get started. So my first goal is to travel this year. Last year I went to quite a few places. It was absolutely amazing. I went to Paris. I went to Oahu, Hawaii. I went to Washington, D.C., San Diego. I went to San Diego twice actually. Alabama and Tennessee. So that was really cool to be able to go to all those places. I love traveling, and one of my goals is to go somewhere new every year. I think traveling is the one thing that we can buy that truly makes us richer. Learning about different cultures and obviously experiencing them for yourself is just something I think everyone should do. So the one trip I do have planned is actually to Oahu, Hawaii again with my family. Last year I went with a friend of mine. This year I'm going with my family. So I've already been there, so my goal is to come up with one other trip to go to a place where I haven't been. So I think me and my friends are actually trying to go to Banff in Alberta, Canada. I'm super excited about it because the pictures look absolutely gorgeous, and I've heard that they don't even do it justice. So I'm hoping that I get to do that. If not, I know I'm gonna find something somewhere that I can go because that's always a priority for me, is just to travel and get out and experience the world. So that's number one for me. Number two is to read more. So I used to love reading when I was a kid. I read all the time and I always had books. I was always going to the library or buying books. I loved to read. I think that kind of went away in college though, because I was a psychology major, and I know a lot of other majors have a lot of reading as well, but psychology majors have quite a bit of reading, and it's not reading for pleasure. It's reading big textbooks, it's reading psychological studies that are like 50 pages long and not always that interesting. It's having to write your own research papers and then reread it to make sure it's right, or peer review your other students' papers to make sure that theirs is good. And then it's reading more textbooks and even reading more research papers. So in college, it kind of took away the pleasure of reading for me. I was reading all the time for work, and so it became more of a chore rather than a hobby. And even when I had like the summers off, I would always try to read at least one book a summer, but I found that even hard because I just didn't enjoy it anymore, which is kind of sad because I used to love reading all the time. So that's a goal of mine, is to get back into reading. Another thing for me that's important is recently, and I'm sure a lot of you are like this, we're addicted to Netflix. I mean, I'm addicted to Netflix. I tell my boyfriend all the time, he's my number one bae. Not my boyfriend, Netflix. And I joke, but I am kind of addicted to it. I always watch it when I go to bed, like before I go to bed and stuff. So one of my goals about also getting more into reading is to get a little bit more away from the internet and to kind of cleanse myself a little bit. So that I don't rely so much on it. I really want to get back into reading and getting that aspect of enjoyment back. So one of the ways that I'm doing it, and you can do it a ton of different ways, is by getting into a book club. So a couple of my friends started a book club called the Dream Team. We basically chose books that were more about personal growth and self-development. Obviously, we could do other books, kind of whatever we wanted, but that's just kind of the genre that we chose for now. So the book that we chose for the month of January is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So what I really like, I'm 2 chapters in, so I'll kind of give you a basic overview, but what I really like about this is it's not telling you not to care about anything. It's not telling you that you shouldn't care and that everything's pointless and to just act that way. It's telling you to be smart about choosing what to care about and what not to care about. And society tells us a lot of times what to care about, and a lot of those things are very superficial. You know, your Instagram accounts, how many likes you get, how many replays you get or views you get on your YouTube videos, and that should determine your self-worth. But it really shouldn't. And obviously, you know, that's individual. If that's something that's really important to you, that's fine too. But it's about choosing what's important to you and what's not important to you, and giving a shit about what's important to you and not caring that other people may not like it as much as you do, or people may not accept you for caring about what you care about, just doing it anyways. So I really like that. Like I said, I'm 2 chapters in. I've really enjoyed it so far. I also think it's really humorous. So it's not just a typical self-help book where it gives you ideas. It also incorporates a lot of humor, makes you laugh, and I think that's, it's been a really good read so far. So I'm a little bit behind. I think my friends are a little bit more into it than I am, so I need to get better on it. But yeah, so that's the first book, and then we have a ton of other books as well. So my third goal for this year is to draw more. So I've always been someone who's pretty creative. I love drawing. I would come up with different like fashion ideas when I was younger, and they weren't very good, but I did it all the time. I tried writing novels and stuff when I was a kid, and when I got into high school, I took an art class my sophomore year, and I absolutely loved it. I loved drawing. I thought it was really great. It was a great way for me to just kind of think, but also get out some of my creativity. A lot of the stuff that I did was very logical, so it was a really great creative outlet for me. And then I kind of stopped doing it just because I got so busy in college, you know, with all the reading again and all the homework, but then I worked full-time as well as going to school full-time, so I kind of got out of it and I got a little lazy. So that's been a goal of mine, is to get more into drawing as well. So to do that, I went to Hobby Lobby and I got some art supplies so that I could kind of get back into it, because I didn't really have any. I got rid of them after a little bit. So the first thing I got is I got this Bristol drawing pad. I also got another one of them, but it's smaller. So I've already been kind of drawing a little bit. So this is, I'll just kind of show you what I've been working on. So they're gonna be hands, and I need to finish the other one, but then, oh God, I can't keep it up. But then I'm gonna have flowers kind of coming out of the hands and kind of draping over the hands, and then on the bottom petals. And then I'm gonna draw, so the hands are gonna be in black and white, and then the flowers are gonna be in color. So to do that, I also got some pencils. So these are like graphite pencils, and then some actual graphite itself, and they're the different styles of writing. So I got those. And then I also got these colored pencils that are pretty cool. They're actually watercolor pencils. So I've tried it out, but basically you draw it on the pad, and then you take a wet paintbrush and you kind of wipe it over where you drew, and it turns it into like a watercolor, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna watercolor the flowers. So the fourth goal that I have is to get more me time. I have been extremely busy in the past couple months with friends coming into town. My 2 best friends got married in December, and then all the holidays, and then, you know, New Year's, and then on top of that, I do have a boyfriend now, so I have been spending a lot of time with him. But the biggest thing that I've been having a lot of problem with is getting me time. And I'm one of those people who, I need my me time, and I get a little cranky if I don't, which is kind of unfortunate. That's like the introverted side of me. I'm very extroverted in the way that I can talk to anyone, I can make friends with people, But at a certain point, and it's not like in a day, but after a couple of days of having to do that, I need me time. I need to be alone. But I'm not really good at doing that, because if someone asks me to do something, I want to hang out with my friends. I want to make those memories. So I'm not always great at just saying, hey, you know what? I just need a me day. So I'll do it anyways, even though sometimes I might get a little cranky, which isn't really good. So that's the biggest one of my goals for this year, is to do more me time. So some of the ways that I've been doing that is I've been getting into yoga a little bit more, and then the reading and the art that I've been trying to do. And even if it's just, you know, me vegging out, having some snacks and watching Netflix, that's fine too. But just every now and then being able to say, hey, I need to hang out with myself for a little bit. And then finally, my last goal for 2018 is to get back to a plant-based lifestyle. So I'm still vegan, but in the past few months, like I said, I had so much stuff going on, and I've been doing so much stuff that I haven't been eating as healthy as I used to. I used to eat so plant-based, and very rarely did I have processed foods and junk foods. But just recently, with how much we have going on, I was eating out a lot. I was eating a lot more junk food, you know, with my friends, because it was easier to do that. Especially with most of my friends not being vegan. They'll eat where I want to eat sometimes, but most of the time we're going to places that accommodate to both lifestyles. And a lot of those times the vegan options aren't the healthiest. You know, like Chinese food places, they're not horrible for you, but they have a lot more oil and salt and sugar than what I used to cook with. So then when I was getting home and I actually had to cook, I wasn't really craving healthy foods anymore. I started craving those kind of foods at my place. So like, you know, the vegan mac and cheese and the Gardein meals and stuff like that. So instead of craving like salads like I normally did, and like healthy plant-based foods, and like I used to make a lot of sauces, a lot of like different kind of dishes, like pasta dishes, Indian dishes. I made like really healthy Mexican burritos and all that with really good ingredients. And I just got really lazy. So that's my goal, is to get more into the plant-based again, and to kind of stay away from a little bit more of the processed foods. It's not bad. It's not horrible for you to have those. And every now and then it's nice to kind of treat yourself. But for me, I was starting to notice like some weight gain and some unhealthy, like I was starting to notice my skin was getting a little bit worse because I wasn't eating as healthy as I used to. Which is fine, but I wasn't really happy with that. So for me, I want to get back into the more plant-based, because I noticed that my skin is a lot better on that kind of diet, and as well as my weight kind of stabilizes. I don't really lose weight, but I don't gain weight either. So I'm hoping to go back into that and incorporating more plants into my diet, and I think that that would make me really happy. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you some food for thought yourself, and I hope it kind of inspired you to kind of come up with some ways to, you know, some new ways to maybe not only better yourself, but maybe just things that would make you happier, things that you would enjoy doing, and maybe things that you never thought you enjoyed doing, but you kind of want to try out. So leave me a comment below and telling me what your 2018 goals are, and also let me know what other videos you would like to see. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.
Get into it, won't you dance with me? Find a place and lose it, you can do it, won't you dance with me? Move your feet and feel it in the space between. You gotta give yourself